Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. It's playoff implications on Thursday, baby. Yo, what is up? It's your favorite boy, Susie, back at it with a playoff implications video, the first one of the season. Again, I suggested this, I think, 2 seasons ago, and it's the greatest thing the ASL has ever done. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you for clapping like I just heard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Joining me is Hutch0322. He's a amazing Overwatch streamer and Pokemon content creator. You should go look at his videos. Plug, plug. And he's going to be here right now. What do you want to say, Hutch?
Yeah, so basically we normally do playoff implications week 11, 12, and 13, but Mr. Ian was very eager to see them come out, so we're doing this just for you, Ian, a week early. And the playoff picture is looking really nice. And Susie, don't reference the doc so you don't spoil anything. Reference page 16.
I know I see that, okay?
Okay, just checking.
Okay, let's do this. To go over, and we're going to maybe go over the bad ones really fast so we don't waste your time. So let's hop right into this with our lolcow of the season, Mr. DeMaster, the coach of the Denver Numals. I don't know what to say. He's had some good play, some good prep in some games, but overall it's been quite lacking. His end game play is not great, and it's cost him a few games. I think he should have at least 3 wins on the year, just based on the situations he was in, but he doesn't, and you can't go change that. So he's 0-10 with a negative 28 differential. He's 6 games back, and he's been eliminated for I think like 2 weeks now or something like that.
Yeah,
His
it's not looking good.
remaining schedule is probably about average. He's got two very good coaches, and he's got to play Cam, who's had good prep every like other week, it seems like. So I think Blake could pick up a win if he brings some creative prep and form for the consolation bracket and getting ready for off season and next season to try to improve. So good luck, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, this season, like, it shows that Blake has been 0-10. That's apparent, but he has not played like an 0-10 team. An 0-10 team gets basically destroyed every single game. He's losing his game or his games by an average of under a 3-0, and anything under a 3-0 is considered a close game. And Demaster just played the best match that he has all season, in my opinion, against EN, where he was on the brink of winning it. It just came
Yes, he
down
was.
to he didn't have. If he had Scarf Rotom, he would have been fine. Or if he went into a couple things first, he would have been fine. It's just like you pointed out, his end game hasn't been great, and that's really costed him. I think he could be at like 3-7 or 4-6 as well if he had a better end game. But yeah, just things to improve on for next season. Like I think his team was good. It's just yeah, just fix the end game and you've got it down, and you can be a playoff contender.
Definitely. I think he is sleeper pick for next year. And I mean, by not having a win so far, I think he's pretty much locked up most improved next year if he wins at least like 1 or 2 games. So
Mhm.
have is currently in 13th. It's the coach of the Washington Whalers, Country Boy Cameron. He's 3-7 with a negative 23 differential. He's 3 games back, and he's been eliminated for I think 1 or 2 weeks. His remaining schedule is average. He's got 2 games against teams that have had lackluster seasons, and then he has 1 game against Gran, who just took over a team. I think potentially Cameron could win all 3 of these games, just for the pure fact that he, yeah, just for the pure fact that Milan's team, although he just took it over, just isn't the greatest roster in general. Blake's just had a bad season, and then Grant is just learning his team. I think Cameron could come in here and win a few games before going into the consolation bracket and continue to improve, as I think he only won like 1 or 2 or 3 games last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Cam has shown a lot of improvement during this season. He went 1-12 last season, so yeah, he's definitely stepped it up. He's shown a lot better prep, and he's actually been in it in a lot of these games. And if you guys are wondering, and if you hear my mic say charging battery a lot, I don't know how to fix it. I'll figure it out later. But if you're wondering why it says 3 games back and is eliminated, it's because of the fact that too many of the 5-5 teams and the 6 and 4 teams are going to end up playing each other, and it's so improbable that it's best just to eliminate them. I don't even think it is possible. They just play each other too much. And yeah, but things to improve on. Like you said, there's some chances for wins. And yeah, two of these coaches are new, and Demaster hasn't had the best season, so Cam could maybe get himself a nice little seed for the playoff, or not the playoff, but the consolation bracket.
Whoa. On the next team, currently in 12th, is the Amsterdam Alakazams, coached by Commander Mylan. Mylan inherited this team just a few weeks ago, so this record is in it's not his fault. He's 3-7. I think he can really have a great end to this season and show that he's ready to be back in the All-Star Showdown League, as he was once in here before and was a playoff team, I believe, maybe every season. I may be wrong.
He was here for one season, made it to the semis, got burned by Manaphy, and was held out of the finals.
Every season. Let's go. I got that right.
I remember the game vividly.
Well, Mylan is a great battler. I can't wait to see what he does next year when he gets to draft his own team and use his team the whole season. So right now it's just kind of getting some work in, just having fun, and getting back into the ASL. And I think he's gonna honestly win at least one of these games. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win at least one of these games, as he is a fantastic battler. So good luck, Mylan, and get ready for the consolation bracket next season.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Mylan in 12th is something I would never like to see, but you cannot fault him. He came onto this team when it was already really bad. It was 1-4 or something like that. I don't even know. He hasn't done terrible. Yeah, he's got a 2-3 record, but you also got to take into the fact that this was a hyper offensive team because that's how Brad wanted to play it. Mylan is far from a hyper offensive player. He tends to be more of a stally player. That's how he likes to play, and this team just does not fit him at all. Yeah, he's really just kind of, I'll just secure my spot and I'll just play the season out and just get into next season. It's a great mentality if that's what you're rolling with. But yeah, maybe pick up 1 or 2 more games. Maybe have just some fun in the consolation bracket. Try out new sets. I know he brought some fun stuff last week against me. He brought a crazy Coco set that scared the life out of me. So yeah, just have fun with the team, really. I mean, there's nothing you can do at this point.
So the team in 11th is the PC Barcelona, coached by Shadow. And this most interesting coaches this season, as he's picked up wins over all sorts of teams, including myself, in a win that I just got absolutely decimated in. I had no chance of winning that game. I was straight just blown back. Known to bring very high quality prep to each match, along with a pretty good team build he has going. So he's really improved. From what I've seen, he's gotten a lot better than what he was last year. I believe he was in the ASL as well, right?
Yep.
Gotten a lot better overall battling wise, and he can still make the playoffs, but he's gonna have to pick up 3 wins, some decent differential out of these guys. So good luck, Shadow, but you're playing 3 teams who all want to make the playoffs, and they're all going to be coming at you with some saucy prep. So good luck.
Yeah, Shadow arguably has the hardest schedule to end out the season, and he has the hardest road to the playoffs for teams that are still in the playoffs. So that definitely doesn't pan out well. But if he is able to win all 3 of those games by beating those teams, that's going to tremendously help himself out. But yeah, Shadow he's been the player that has had the highest highs and the lowest lows. He's gotten some crazy wins and has played phenomenally, and then he's just gone into some games where it doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. And yes, he's shown a lot of improvement, but he's being a very streaky player as of right now. If he can get that consistency down, I could see that record being flipped and see him in a playoff spot right now. It's just some of those losses absolutely destroyed him, but he did pick up some nice wins. And yeah, if all goes right, his scenario is he has to win his next 3 games. TJ, myself, Ian, and TCP can only win 1 game, and AZ, Keister, and Susie can only win 2 games, and he has to beat all of those, or at least everyone. He has to beat AZ, Keister, and Susie with differential, and he has to at least beat TJ, myself, Ian, or TCP with differential. So, yeah, it's not in your hands. You just have to hope for the best, honestly.
Like you were saying, Shadow's had some games where it's been crazy. Like against you, he might have played the best. That might have been the best played game I've seen from anyone all season against you, where he won. But then games like against AZ, he lost 5-0. It just looked like he was not even in that game at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Team in 10th is the St. Louis Swab Blues, coached by Malone himself, the longtime ASL coach. And Malone is 4-6 with a -3 differential, which I must say is remarkable for a team with a losing record by 2 games. That's just insane. And he is well in this playoff hunt. He has probably the hardest remaining schedule. And Keister and Ian, who are all vying for playoff spots, and don't think Ian's going to be taking it lightly, as he wants that first seed, as it can be an enormous advantage in the playoffs. So Malone, he needs to win out. Like Shadow, he needs a lot of little things to happen as well, where he needs people like AZ, Keister, and myself to only win 2 games. And then TJ, Hutch, Ian, and TCP may only win 1 game if he wants to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I retract my previous statement. I would definitely say that Malone has the hardest remaining schedule. But also like Shadow, Malone is not far from the realm of being a very streaky player. He's had some insane upset wins. He's pulled off a great couple of wins against like TCP. He's pulled one off against Brad. There's one against Shadow, and there's one other sprinkled in there. I can't put my finger on it,
That's
but
bad. Don't forget that.
yeah, it's just he's played fantastic at times, and even in the game against me in week 2, he played really, really well. It's just it comes down to the fact that there are some games where he looked like he did not know what he was doing. Like in the game against you, I think he could have played that so much better. We had prep planned out. Also, the game against Cam, we had just prep that could have won in the game, and it's just he did not perform the way he needed to. If he won those 2 games, he'd be sitting at a 6-4 right now. It just comes down to those 1 or 2 games where you drop the ball, and that's what happens. So same scenario as Shadow. Malone has definitely the harder time. He's going to have to play some coaches that are really hoping for that playoff spot. Though, if he can get through Ian and Keister, I think there's a chance that Ian might not try his Week 13 game. Because Ian will have likely clinched by then. He's 8-2. So we'll just see how it pans out for Malone. But yeah, like Shadow, it's not in his hands.
All right, the next team is arguably the greatest team on entertainment value level. In ninth place, the Utah Hoots, coached by the god himself, Susie. Susie is 5-5 with a -8 differential. I don't know how that's possible. He just sucks.
He gets
In the
6 out a
playoff
lot.
hunt. Yep, I either win or I get. Okay, this is actually a fun fact. Every game I've lost has been by at least 4-0. I'm not kidding. So 3 Mons go down and the other team should just give up because I've got that game in the bag. Although I think that's invalid now because I think I got 3-0 the week before versus Keister.
Well,
But anyways, my remaining schedule is arguably the hardest, just like Malone's is arguably the hardest. I have to play EN, AZ, and the coach of the Portland Timbers himself, Hutch0322, the Twitch streamer and the YouTuber with Pokemon content. Yes, go follow him, plug. My clinch scenario is I need to win 3 probably. And the people can only win a max 2 games are TJ, Hutch, Ian, and TCP. It if I only win 2. If I 6-0 people in my next 2 games and everyone else somehow does something bad, but I'm not certain. I've got to pick up some clutch wins, and I don't know if I can. But a fun fact is if I drop these next 3 games, which could likely happen, I would have started the season 5-2 and ended on a 6-game losing streak.
yeah. So basically, there's a way you can make it in with going 7-6. I mean, that's the scenario we've panned out for Showdown and Malone. It's just of these 5-5 teams, most of them have pretty crappy differentials. Yours and Keister's differentials are pretty bad for being 500. So, yeah, we're just going to say that you need to win 3 games because you're probably not winning a differential war. Also, the fact that of the 6-4 teams, it's unlikely that they're going to lose 2 games just based on strength of schedule. And, yeah, you have a pretty difficult schedule coming up. And, yes, you sitting at 5-2, you were the number 1 seed at one point. It's just...
Hey.
It's been rough. I know you've had your fair share of setup, but hey, I had that too, and I bounced back. But if you could find your footing and win 3 games in a row, there is a chance that you make playoffs. However,
Boy.
if you lose any one of these games, it really needs to be a 2-0 or less.
Ouch. Well, if I've learned anything so far this season, it is that Venusaur is a very easy to use Mega, and I'm unable to use it, so I'm bad. Okay,
Essentially.
next team is the Phoenix Flygons in 8th place, coached by Keister, aka Batty, as I like to call him. Not really, but he's 5-5 with a -5 differential. Again, that's dog shit. He's 1 game back, and he's in the playoff hunt. 3 probably, and he has a moderately difficult schedule as he plays 3 teams all in the playoff hunt: TCP, Malone, and Shadow. For Keister, as I honestly think he is an elite battler, although his prep can be spotty at times when he doesn't have much time. It may be an unpopular opinion, but I think Keister may nab that 6th spot. Very 6th seed in the playoffs. But again, he's going to have to win against 3 teams who are trying very hard, and after his Week 11 game, if it's going to be playoffs or not for Keister.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Basically, his Week 11 game is going to be extremely important because if he loses that game, he's not only putting himself at a 5-6, he's also giving TCP at a 7-4, which makes his route all but harder, and his differential is not good to begin with. So basically, same for you. If he loses any one of these games, it's got to be 2 or less. And if he loses to TCP 2-0, he's got to absolutely destroy Malone and Shadow to be able to get in. I don't really see there's any way for him to get the 6th spot. And, we're going to see him try. And, yeah, it really comes down to showing how much differential is important because it's held people out of playoffs before, and I feel like it's going to do it again.
Yes. Okay, so the next team we have is the Houston Hoopahs. They're in 7th place currently, and they're coached by AZ, a newcomer. AZ has done a great job so far this season, but he is sitting at just 5-5 with a -2 differential. But I think he's dropped a game or 2 in a row. Let me check that really fast.
No,
I am mistaken.
I think he went win-loss or something like that.
He split them. Okay. So AZ, again, has a negative differential at a 500 record. He's going to have to improve that, but with his schedule, it's doable for him to make the playoffs. But again, it's going to be pretty hard because despite getting to play Demaster in his Week 11 game, he has to play 2 teams that want to make playoffs very badly. So it's going to take some high-quality play from the Houston Hoopahs to make it into the playoffs. But it is apparent that AZ has an easier road than those behind him.
Yeah, honestly, if anyone from the 5-5 group is going to make it, it's going to be AZ. He's got the only subpar differential between the 3, and his schedule's not terrible. If he beats the Master, great. And then if he beats you, he pretty much knocks you out of contention, so that's 1 less person that he's going to have to match in differential, which he would likely anyways, but he doesn't have to worry about it. And then if he beats TCP, that only betters his shot. He goes 8-5, and pretty much TCP would be knocked out if AZ has a good enough differential, because TCP would sit at 8-5, AZ would sit at 8-5, and if AZ can beat him in differential, then we would see AZ grab that spot. So AZ's really got to focus up in these last 3 weeks. The most important game for him is against TCP. If he doesn't win that game, the first 2 don't matter.
Great way of putting that. Well put. So the next team we have is the team that is in the sixth spot or the very bottom of the playoff teams currently. That is TCP, the coach of the Hartford Whalers. TCP was here, obviously. And then this year he started off very rough. I believe it was starting in his game versus me that he started to pick everything up, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you beat him.
Oh, I'm cool. I'm good. Well,
Your differential says otherwise.
yeah, that's my only win versus a team with a winning record.
Oh my god.
Or a team or a team with a 500 record.
Wow. Don't go
Okay,
bragging
okay.
about that.
When I beat him, he had a losing record, so he didn't try as much. Okay. Anyways,
Jesus.
going on. TCP has had a great season. Starting off near the bottom, he has risen straight up, shooting straight up among the ranks. He's 6-4 now. He's improved a very poor differential with a positive 1 differential. And his remaining schedule, like most teams, is difficult. Recent play or play from last season suggests it. TCP is as good as they come, and I confidently believe he will make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, this is very interesting because yeah, TCP did not start out well. I believe he was like 2-4 at one point after being last season's champion. And going 2-4, you have your doubts about how good of a player you are. And people started to doubt him. I will admit, I was doubting his ability as well. But he's made a really good resurgence right now, and he's sitting at 6-4. That does not mean that he is safe, however. There are a lot of bloodthirsty teams that he's going to have to play in the future. EN might still have a chance to get that number 1 overall seed if he still wants it, or if he has the option to go ahead and clinch a bye. That's the thing too. And just a phenomenal coach, has the best team in the league in my opinion. Keister really wants to get into that playoff spot. Beating TCP would help him tremendously. Same goes for AZ. So TCP's got to be very worried, and I think his week 11 and his week 13 mean so much more than his week 12. He could drop his week 12, but if he wins his week 11 and week 13, he should be good to go. Should be good to go because then, assuming I don't think you can beat him in differential, and yeah, that should pretty much lock it up for TCP. But yeah, good on him, silencing all the doubts about him, about how good he is as a player, and really clawing back into this playoff spot.
Side Hutch. Okay, so the team currently in fourth is quite possibly the most boring team in the entire draft league format. That is the Portland Timbers, coached by Hutch_03_22.
I think you're on the
Again,
wrong slide, buddy.
but God, that's so embarrassing.
I was like,
Very-
Ian's gonna be pissed at you.
I try so hard. I'm so sorry, Ian. I'll buy you a private jet or something. I'm so sorry.
PayPal him right now.
I'm so sorry, okay? I'll make the next intro totally for you. You can PM me whatever you want, okay? I'll say it on air no matter what it is.
No, we already made a transactions intro for him. We're even.
And I owe him. I skipped his slide. Okay, let's go on this. So the team currently in fifth is the Arcane Arcanines, coached by the greatest coach in All-Star Showdown League history, without a doubt, not even debatable. So Ian is 6-4 with a phenomenal differential of 8. For a team with a 6-4 record, that's pretty great. I'm kind of proud of you there, Ian. And he's currently in the 5th spot, and his remaining schedule is obviously difficult like the rest of them. Are Malone, Shadow, and I don't know what that one is. I think that's TJ, SBH. Yep. Yeah. He plays TJ in his week 13 game. Are vying for the playoffs, but I definitely see Ian being able to pick up at least 1 win here. And as long as he doesn't drop the ball too hard, keep him safe. And I think Ian is a near lock for the playoffs.
Oh, Ian is definitely a lock for the playoffs. He's got 2 coaches coming up that are not in the best shape right now. And yeah, they have to have everything go right for them. but still have not had the greatest seasons. And this is the team that really Ian thrives with. This is his season 3 team, pretty much to a T. He played very well with that. And yeah, it's just what he loves: his Mega Scizor, his Finny, his Garchomp. He just loves all of it, and he's playing really well. His differential is pretty good for 6 and 4. I'm not going to say that that's insane because there are better differentials, but that's a very respectable differential, and it's really going to set him apart from TCP. And that's 7 differential points. That's a big difference. It's going to help him in seeding. It's going to help in like if TCP and Ian both lose and only one spot, or if only one of them drops out, it's going to be TCP and Ian's going to be a lock. And yeah, I just don't see Ian dropping out of the playoffs. At the very least, he gets the 6th seed and maybe someone climbs over him. I don't even see that happening, though.
All right, so as I was saying before I accidentally skipped Ian, fourth is the Portland Timbers, coached by Hutch_03_22, the famous Twitch streamer and YouTube streamer. I put a hyperlink on his name that Hutch just removed, so you guys could have clicked on your screen. It wouldn't have worked,
God.
but the thought that counts. But I hyperlinked that a second ago. And Hutch is 6 and 4 with a record of positive 13, and his remaining schedule is a little bit average. He plays Grand in week 11, which should be a great game for him as it gives him practice for the playoffs. I think that's invaluable. He gets to play the Master in what should be a meme fest, as I bet the Master is going to bring some serious heat. And then he plays me. So obviously he's going to drop week 13, but I think if he can win those first 2, he's going to be safe. And just with 1 win, he'll be safe anyways. His differential is God tier. And despite how boring he is as a person, we're all right. So I think he's going to make the playoffs, and he can make he can do some damage in the playoffs like he's done in the past.
Yeah, all I have to say about the Week 13 match is what's a Megazard Y swapping. And yeah, pretty much my differential is pretty nice. It's going to help me out a tremendous amount. 6 and 4. Obviously, I would love to be 8 and 2, and I should be 8 and 2. But, you know, yeah. Well, if we want to remove RNG from the game, then I should be. If we're removing RNG from the game, then I'm 9 and 1.
Shut up, man.
It's actually true. It's actually true. Lost on. Okay, well, actually, if we take out RNG, then I'm 8 and 2 because then Blizzard.
And I got crits, I lost.
Hey man, I'm just saying I shouldn't be that, but if we're taking RNG out of the game, whatever. So yeah, I pretty much play the first overall or the number 1 seed, and then I play the 14 seed. So I'm getting the highs and the lows, and then I play a 500 team. So that is basically as average as you can get. And yeah, if I win 2 games, I essentially for sure clinch. And if I win 3 games, I definitely clinch. So, yeah, pretty simple.
Win 1, you're pretty much guaranteed, too. But...
yeah, my differential's that high.
All right, so the next team is the coach of the Slow Bohemians, TJ. Yes, I put that above the 4 and 6. For anyone reading that said, I hate Como-O. It should be in Anything Goes, but I don't know why we didn't put it there. I personally put it in Anything Goes when we voted. I'll go change my vote to make sure it says that. But, oh, looks terrible. TJ is 6 and 4 right now with the record with the differential of positive 14. Great job, TJ. TJ's shown to bring high quality prep to each week. And it definitely shows. He's improved from last year. I don't think he made the playoffs last year. I think he had 5 wins, right?
He had 6. He was so close.
Okay, so he
would have had 5, but you know he crit your Scizor. I just want you to relive that.
That game was so gay. Can we talk about that? I was going for the 6-0.
No.
If I got the 6-0, I made playoffs, and he crit me, so I didn't get the 6-0, and then I lost in the end, and I'm so mad about that still.
It's so funny because you would have got the 6-0 too. You would have got the 6-0 too. You would have made the playoffs, then he crit you. I think it was a roll anyways, or you guaranteed die. It was one of the two.
It was the best game I've played in my life in Pokemon. That was the best game I've ever played, and he crit me, and I lost because of it, because I had to go for the 6-0.
All right,
I had to get the 6-0, obviously. But, oh my god, oh, I want to strangle him. Not really, TJ, but
you get the idea.
His schedule is again average, like most teams. He gets to play Shadow in week 11, in which I think is a very, very great game. I think they match up very well to each other. I'm excited to see that game. In week 12, he plays whoever AMS is. It's more like ALS, am I right? Oh, that's Milan.
What's
It's a great
wrong with
coach.
you?
that should be that should be a
Jesus.
great game. I'm not against ALS. I'm trying to raise funds for it. The Lou Gehrig's disease. I know a lot about it. See, and then week 13 he plays Ian. So I definitely see TJ making the playoffs. His differential's high, and I think he will win against Shadow, which should do enough for him to make the playoffs. Season so far, TJ ended off strong, and if you ever crit me again, I swear.
He's so hurt. But yeah, T just had a fantastic season. I mean, just last season there was just some unfortunate things that happened to him, and now he's doing those unfortunate things to others. You know, I crit his setup Jirachi, and he got a very high roll on my red card fortress. So we're even, TJ. We're even. But yeah, he's made a nice bounce back season. He has a very good differential, 1 point better than mine. So props to you.
Oh,
But yeah, his schedule's relatively easy. I mean, I figure he beats Shadow, he beats Milan, and the game against Ian doesn't matter because they're both sitting at 8-4 and have clinched playoffs anyways. So I figure that'll be a meme game. So he finishes 8-4 or 9-4, or 8-5 or 9-4, one of the two. But yeah, it's pretty simple for TJ to make playoffs.
okay. Thank you for that. I know you're only here for your looks, but again, it's not a video or anything. It's just like audio video. So, again, you're not contributing anything. So, okay. Next up, that was a bad joke. I apologize. I'm sorry. The team in second is the St. George Dragonites, coached by excellent name. And excellent name is currently 8-2 with a differential of positive 19. He is 2 games ahead, and unless Ian just suddenly gets replaced by me or like Tony or someone like that, there's no way he misses out on playoffs. His remaining schedule is me, TCP, and Malone. Again, a pretty average schedule to end the year. He's definitely going to win at least one of these games based on the way he's played so far this season. His roster is very good. And again, he is an elite battler. He is my favorite currently to win the title. Many people would agree with me.
Yeah.
And see how he goes into this final stretch before the playoffs. And it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, Ian has, like I said earlier, arguably the best team in the league. I don't think it's disputed. I think it's just a fantastic team. He uses it really well. It's pretty easy to clinch the playoffs. I mean, he's got to play you. He could play Malone. Either one of those games, he gets a win and clinches. There's also the chance that he beats TCP, clinch that game. And getting a bye is not impossible because he's only 1 game back of Gran, and I hate my headset, and I'm sorry if you guys can actually hear that. I don't know if you can, but you might be able to. But anyways, yeah, he's had a fantastic season. He did not do that great starting out. There was a period where he was like 3-2, and he's really brought it on. And if history repeats itself, broken teams have won the championship every single year. So they've been like Mega Venusaur broken, and EN is actually bringing like a more hyper offense broken team, which I love to see. Hyper offense is the best playstyle. But yeah, it's just broken team. I don't really see him losing. Plus, he's a fantastic battler, so it's just best of both worlds.
I have one more comment to make, which is actually insightful for once. His
Oh
Week
wow.
12 game versus TCP is very interesting because he wants to go for that bye. He's going to have to bring out some high quality prep, which he may want to hide in case he plays TCP in the playoffs. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Ian decides to play that game. I know I had said something good for once. All right, so
Oh my god,
can
I
you hear
didn't
me?
change this. Yep.
Finally, oh wow. I feel bad. Let's just cover the screen for a second and go off to a different slide, guys. I wish I was controlling this. Okay, so the team in first currently is the Kling Klang United. by Grand, 9-1, plus 33, 3 games ahead. As many of you know, this was coached by the juggernaut himself, the man, the myth, the legend, who previously had what was his team? The London Lapras.
Yes, Mr. Cody.
Normally it's very bad. It's very hard to pick a player to take over for a team as dominant as Cody. But I think Gran is replacement as he is a very excellent battler. So I'm glad to see that a great battler was able to take over an elite battler's team like Cody. And so far, Gran has dropped 1 game, but I believe he's 1-1, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
lost to
Correct?
EN, so yeah.
0-1.
Yeah, he's 1-1 because he came in when
But
it
yeah,
was
he's
7
one.
0. Or no, he's 2-1.
Oh, he's 2-1.
He beat AZ
So
and he beat Keister. Yep.
2-1, and his roster composition is very elite. It's one of those teams that you don't realize how good it is until you actually play it. It's very hard to stop. I got 6-0'd by Cody when he had this team, so not fun. And all he's trying to do right now is make sure he gets that bye, and he has probably the easiest remaining schedule as he gets to play Milan and Cam, who are playing just or not playing for playoff berths. And then he gets to play Hutch, which should be a very difficult game for him, as Hutch is a all right battler, I would say so myself.
Very difficult is
And
very all right.
heard a rumor that Hutch may in fact pay Gypsy to prep for him. So I think Hutch can maybe not lose that by more than 3-0.
Gypsy's a better player than a prepper, but whatever works.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a big game for Gran. The bye would very much help him in the playoffs, and I do think he will hang on ultimately, just because I think he's gonna be able to win at least one of these games, and then keep a better differential than EN. But it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to ask of someone coming in on a team this late in the season, but Grant just got a absolute gift. He got a 7-0 team. That was basically already clinched for playoffs at the time. Fantastic team composition, and he's not playing bad with it. His first game was a nice 6-0, and then he picked up a win over AZ. He dropped a game to EN, but EN is the second. Oh my God, you're OCD. And then EN, he dropped a game to EN. I mean, there's not much fault there. EN is a fantastic coach, but yeah, I mean. He's 9-1. He's already clinched the playoffs, and the simplest way to go ahead and lock up that first round bye is to go ahead and get 3 wins. Likely, if he wins 2 more games and EN wins 3 games, he will likely beat him out in differential anyways. So there's a lot of scenarios for Gran to get that number 1 overall seed. It's extremely simple for him to clinch a bye. Okay, this is wrong. This clinch scenario is set up just for the first round bye. But Gran will clinch. Think of it this way: Gran will clinch a first round bye if he wins 1 game. That's just the greatest way to think of it. But yeah, Gran, he's honestly improved the team in my opinion. He made it just ridiculous, and I've already started prepping for him, and it is terrifying. His team is
I
so
know,
good.
right?
It is very offensive with threats like Greninja, with Mega, or not Mega, but Metacham. He's got Mega Manectric, and then he's got defensive threats like Clefable and Empoleon, even Mudsdale. He's got a
Kill
lot
itself.
of threats there that you really have to watch out for. So very fantastic team.
And finally, we'll move on to the final slide, the prettiest slide. As many of you know, this doc was created by the YouTuber himself, Hutch0322, also a Twitch streamer.
As most stocks are.
Yeah. So as you can see from the playoff picture here, um, everything we've laid out is here nicely. It's going to be interesting to see how the season ends out, but everyone from 11 to 3 to 11 to 5, I guess. And the battle from 5 to 9 is just going to be very fun to watch. So I'm excited. And can we get a round of applause for the Bimbo Hutch right now? Please, round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's up at like 1 a.m. or 12 a.m. on a school night.
Yeah.
All-Star Showdown League. You know, you got to put those hours in, get
Dude,
those
that's the
games.
commitment.
Yeah, so another round of applause for him. Your thoughts on this playoff picture, Hutch?
Oh, let me go back to the slide. I went to the title slide. So basically, 2 through 11 have not clinched a spot yet. Basically 1, 2, 3, and 4 are guaranteed. In my opinion, the only like doubts that I have are for 5 and 6, whether their spots are secured yet. I think Ian has a very good shot of making it in. It's just, there's always that what if, is he going to drop the ball? And my mic is going absolutely insane right now. Oh my
Just
god.
like you.
And TCP is the only one that I really think is in danger, but he could pull out some wins. He's on a 4-game win streak right now, so we'll see. Let's just end the recording before my mic keeps going ding 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 ding. I'm not going to TJ slide. You know what? I will, just to delete this. Alright, go ahead and wrap this up, Susie.
Thank you for watching, everyone. This was a another installment of
It's on the
playoff
screen.
implications. Sorry, I forgot what it's called, even though I made it up. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week to inform you on how the playoff picture is shaping up and which teams will and won't make the playoffs. And thank you for spending, my guess is 29 minutes with us.
Holy crap, you're wrong. 42 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay, we're just gonna get out of here right now. It's way too long. Bye. Get out of here, please.
See you guys. Thank you.